Time to talk Dallas Cowboys football, and that means Mickey Spagnola is in the building. Mickey, this is a big week, man. You know, this is win or go home. And Dallas starting out with the San Francisco 49ers. Great matchup. What's your opinion about the matchup?
Well, I think this is going to be one of those very evenly matched teams going up against each other. I think they all have their strong points. They have some of their weak points. And to me, Van, a lot of this game's going to be dictated by the guys in the trenches, how the offensive lines play, how the defensive lines play. The Cowboys know San Francisco wants to run the ball, so the Cowboys' defensive front has to be strong. I think San Francisco understands how well the Cowboys can throw the ball. They're going to want to get after Dak Prescott, and I think from the Cowboys' standpoint, they have to make sure that San Francisco respects the Cowboys' running game. They can't keep pounding it in there and getting a yard, 2, 3. They got to hit them for some runs so they respect the running game and back off with their pass rush. So, yeah, this is going to be a good one, but keep an eye on what goes on up front in this game.
And as far as the health of the Cowboys, what does the report look like this week?
Well, I'll tell you what, Van, this is about as healthy as they've been all season long. From a injury standpoint, from a COVID standpoint, they had all hands on deck at practice on Thursday, and they did practice in pads. So it was a heavy practice. The last guy back from COVID was Jaron Kearse, and he was back on the field. I would imagine he practiced on a limited basis today just because of the time he missed, but everybody else is good to go. So I don't think you could ask for anything more heading into the first round of the playoffs.
You know, quarterbacks are always a focal point, whether they want to be or not. How much pressure is on Dak for this game?
Well, I think there's pressure every time he plays. You know, I don't think you put any more pressure just because it's a playoff game, because if you do that, you're bound to fail, right? And he's talked about it all week. He goes, pressure makes you play well. I welcome the pressure. But that's on everybody, right? There's pressure on the wide receivers. They got to catch the ball. There's pressure on the offensive line. They got to block. So it's not just on the quarterback. It's on everybody and on both sides of the ball. There's pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's got to play well. So, yeah, I don't think anything changes, and I think that's been what Mike McCarthy has preached all week long. Nothing changes. The stakes are bigger, but nothing changes. Our preparation has to take us into the game and be ready to play. Don't treat it as something more than it is. And I think the big mistake that teams can make, especially in the playoffs, is thinking about the consequences of everything instead of thinking about what's going to happen on this play, what's going to happen on the next play. If you focus on the consequences, you're sure to fail.
You know, and speaking of San Francisco's quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, got that thumb was a little banged up. And you talked about it earlier, you know, how the 49ers rely a lot on their run game anyway. You think we'll see a heavy dose of the run game because of his banged up thumb, or maybe they try to throw him off a little bit?
No, I think that you would have seen a lot of their run game even if he didn't have a banged up thumb. That's what they do. They want to go heavy. They want to use a fullback. They want to use 2 tight ends. They want to use their fullback as a tight end, and they want to come running at you. We kind of coined the phrase today, the bullies by the bay, right? They're going to come after you, and you got to be able to stand up. And I like the fact that Micah Parsons earlier in the week basically pointed out you can't bully a bully, right? And so they're ready. They know what's coming, and nothing should surprise them. Now they just got to go out and play.
These two clubs have had quite the history in the postseason. You know, you think about Dwight Clark's catch, and you think about all these different things. And what do you think they put another log on that fire with this game? You think it's going to be one of those classics, or you think that it might serve, or it's going to overdo it? What is it going to look like?
You know, if you go back through the entire history, now this is the 8th time they faced each other in the playoffs. And even if you go back to the 70s, when they met the first 3 times in 70, 71, and 72, all 3 of those games were classics. And The Cowboys had to come from behind in that last one. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of a neat story. You know, they were down to San Francisco in that game, 13 points with a couple minutes to go, and Roger Staubach came in that fourth quarter. He had been out all season long with a separated shoulder. Craig Morton was struggling in the game. Staubach came back in at the end of the third quarter and led them to a victory in the game, 30-28. So, yeah, these have all been classics, and I would imagine we're not going to get anything less this time around.
Okay, with that said, we will part ways. I will not ask you for a winner. I will not do that to you because we're in the postseason and we're just going to watch it and enjoy it and let it be what it is. Mickey, thanks for your time as always.
Good to be with you, Van.
All right, man. He's Mickey Spagnola. I'm Van Tate. We'll see you next time.